Welcome to the Roncast, where entrepreneurs find killer tips, techniques, and tools to start and growth hack any business. Brought to you by one of Canada's favorite business personalities, Ron Davies. Enjoy the show.
Hi all, and welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Ron Davies. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about how to leverage businesses in your area for your own growth and how to return that benefit to them. There are all kinds of opportunities out there for marketing that are inexpensive or free, and even some that pay you to market. Now, when you go to your local marketing agency, they're not going to know a whole lot about most of that other than how to run ads on the radio, local TV, newspaper, magazines, and such. Not particularly innovative. They'll sell you some website traffic, some pay-per-click. They'll do what Yodel and Yelp and all of these do. Most marketing agencies honestly don't know a whole lot about marketing innovation because marketing innovation doesn't make them very much money. So it's up to you as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, or a person in the startup space to get a little bit clever. And I'm going to do my part to help you outsmart most marketing agencies. So this is 2020, guys. Okay, so if you are in a business, whether it's an online business or a tow truck company, you need to be developing an email list of your customers. You don't have to make a big deal about it. You don't have to make it complicated. Just get the email addresses of your customers. You're typically doing this to email them invoices and what have you anyway. But I'm going to show you a different way that you can use this list. That it's not about spamming people. It's about bringing a benefit. So let's suppose you have a pharmacy. All right, you're a pharmacist and you do prescriptions for people. So you definitely have a way to reach out to them. And let's suppose across from you, across the street, across the mall, wherever, is a jewelry store. The jewelry store probably also has a mailing list. And the jewelry store is probably trying to sell jewelry to that mailing list all the time. And you might be sending out specials and coupons to your email list all the time as well. But I'm wondering, have you given the jewelry store guy access to send a message in your list? And has he given you access to send a message to his list? And let me help make that a little bit more clear. You could go across to the jewelry store guy and say, "Hey, look, Bob, I've got 500 local customers here that are my pharmacy customers, and I would like to offer them a benefit that you don't give to people that walk in off the street. I want to call it, a VIP benefit or what have you. Bob, do you think you could give, say, 5% or 8% discount to my customers?" And Bob probably can do that. I know in jewelry, he can do probably a whole lot more than that because of the massive margins in jewelry. And what you do is Bob's going to give you an ad for the jewelry store, just some text, maybe a couple of pictures, and you're going to email this out to your customers and say, "Hey, I hope you don't mind. I put together a very special deal with Bob's Jewelry across the hall from me, across the street from me. And I invite you to take advantage of this. It's a special deal that he does not offer retail customers. He's only offering it because he and I are good friends and we're trying to help one another out." So now you're going to get some response. What amount of response makes it worth it? Well, if you're sending out this jewelry deal where people are getting 7 or 8 or 5 or 10% off, and then Bob's going to also pay you another 4 or 5% as well. Well, in jewelry, you don't have to sell a lot of jewelry to have made it worthwhile. The other possibility is rather than Bob paying you like an affiliate or paying you a commission on those referred sales for the people on your pharmacy mailing list buying jewelry, he could just reciprocate instead. So his customers, if he's across the street from you, may have an overlap into your customers. It certainly has an overlap into your potential customers. Maybe people have been buying jewelry from Bob, but they shop at another pharmacy. So instead of him paying you a commission for the sales that you refer to him, you could just have Bob do the exact same thing that you just did for him. So now Bob is going to send something out to his jewelry store customers saying, hey, my friend across the way here has a pharmacy and he's prepared to give you a discount on, I don't know, whatever you want in the store, a 5% discount across the board on purchases made in the store at the pharmacy. And here's how to go about that. And then you would give him a picture, maybe a logo, a picture of a coupon, and some text. And in this way, you're basically cross-pollinating. It's not a risk to you or to Bob because you don't compete with one another. Obviously, if you're in the jewelry store business and the guy across the way is also in the jewelry store business, it might not be as effective. But I would temper that with the fact that different jewelry stores cater to different buyer demographics and psychographics. So the next time you're at your shop and you've got a couple of minutes, maybe give a call to a couple of local businesses and see if this is something that they would be interested in doing. And the fact of the matter is, again, as I said in the beginning of this podcast, this is 2020. If you're not using a little bit of digital marketing, and by digital marketing here, all I'm talking about is an email list, the most basic digital marketing there is. If you're not doing that, you are leaving a lot of money on the table and you can't hide it. And here's the peril, is if you're not doing that, but your competitor is communicating effectively with people and you are not, you're definitely not moving forward. So you must be moving backward. There's very little stasis in business these days. I think you'll find that. Now that we're having this whole thing with the coronavirus globally as a pandemic, it's important that we find ways to leverage existing resources to bolster business. And people are going to be staying in their homes right now, right? So they're going to be shopping more online. If you can find a way, even if you don't have much of an online presence, if you can send an email out to your customer base that says, hey, we understand a lot of people are concerned about the coronavirus. This is just to let you know that we're on the ball here. And if there's anything you need, we can have it delivered to outside your door. And we deliver, our delivery guys do so with gloves. And that way you won't have to expose yourself to coming out or coming into our store even. That kind of thing, you can get a little bit of an inoculation, well-needed inoculation of business where others are not. So if you're the only pharmacy in your town that offers to fulfill a prescription by email or by telephone for delivery, not unlike what a pizza place would do, that can have a lot of benefit. And the same is true for other things, basic sundry items. I know of a young entrepreneur in San Francisco who's one of my friend's sons. He's actually delivering toilet paper to homes because he basically bought a container load of it and he's selling it and delivering it to homes. So people don't have to go into crowded and frenzied shopping facilities in order to get things like toilet paper. I think he's doing pasta sauce and pasta and ramen as well, the ramen noodles. So you need to get a little bit creative and innovative right now in order to get through this kind of eating the frog here with the whole coronavirus thing to stimulate your business. A great way to do it, as I just went through, is email list cross-pollination. You're going to find as a business owner right now that you are going to have some fairly quiet times on your hands. So get innovative. And if you're not sure what to do, please do reach out to Ron at theroncast.com, and I will do my very best to help get you on track and keep you in business, and more so to do some growth hacking with you. And I'd love to help you out. So we're just coming up on what's going to make for a 10-minute podcast. I promised you guys these would be under a dozen minutes, fairly bite-sized. So have a wonderful day and keep on marketing. That's it for me. I'm your host, Ron Davies.
Hi guys, how cool is it that I can talk about something that I love, which is helping people grow or start a business, and I can even get paid just for the talking part? Well, that's how it is here on Anchor. I use Anchor.fm as my podcasting platform, and they do all kinds of cool stuff to make it easier for me. First of all, it's free, right? That's kind of attractive, and that's how I started. They have really cool tools. In fact, right now I'm talking to you through my smartphone. I've recorded this podcast today, which I think is my 30th or 31st podcast using my smartphone. And it's an app that comes from Anchor, and that also is free. So they have all these creation tools that make it easy to record your podcast right from your phone or from your computer. They have cool things like drag and drop transitions, and you can put in your intro or your outro. You probably heard my intro already. That came from a guy on Fiverr. He did it for me, and it's stored right in my smartphone. The other cool thing is Anchor actually distributes your podcast for you. So it can be heard in places like Spotify or Apple Podcast and about 7 or 8 other places that they send it to as well, all automatically. You can make money from your podcast, which I mentioned right at the beginning. They'll pay you for the number of people that hear different ads from the publishers or rather from the advertisers that go into your published podcast. So Anchor.fm, all in this app and all on their site, they have everything that you need to make a podcast and get paid for it all in one place. So I'm really a big fan because those that follow me recognize I'm one of the laziest marketing and salespeople ever. I'm a huge fan of leverage. I like doing something or designing a system once, and it's easy to repeat, and Anchor FM was a perfect way for me to do that. So what I want to do is I want to ask you to download the Anchor app. So whether you're on iOS or on Android, you can download the Anchor app, and you can either go to Anchor.fm or you can search it in either the Apple Store or the Google Store and install it, because there's another cool thing we can do is while I'm podcasting in real time, you can actually get involved with my podcast. I can invite you into the podcast so we can kind of work together on that. And that's pretty cool too. So I invite you to check out Anchor.fm, and I would love to hear your thoughts on it. And that will be in a podcast to come up. So have a great day. Thank you.
That's it for this episode of the Roncast. Be sure to subscribe and tune in again for killer tips, techniques, and tools to growth hack any business. We hope you've enjoyed the show.